This video is going to explain how to do the accessing information section of Unit 3. Right, now in theory you've done some searching and you should have found what could be promising websites. What you now need to do is to start from the home page of those websites and look for the actual data that you might want to use. A couple of important points. At some stage during this process you must find the data that you're actually going to use, and the screenshots you're going to take need to go all the way to finding the actual data. So the last screenshot you take for that search would be a screenshot showing the data that you're going to analyse in Excel and Access. The other thing is that you might go down some blind alleys. Now that's okay if your searching is sensible and it doesn't lead anywhere. That's not the end of the world, but you can't keep doing it. That should only happen a couple of times at most. The exam board are going to give you high band marks if you do a range of searches. That's quite tricky, and some of them must be advanced searches. That's very tricky. I'll try and show you one and give you some ideas for some others. Anyway, the Telegraph was a promising one. Now when you do these searches you need to use a series of different facilities that are available. One is the internal search. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in something promising. I'll put in that. Now again, you're going to start a new document, call it Accessing Information. You could put a subtitle, The Telegraph. Do a screenshot of this and explain what it is you're doing. So you type in GCSE performance tables into the internal search bar. You're doing that because you found that during your website search performance tables was a good criteria to use. Right, do the search and see where you end up. Now a lot of this is sort of feeling around in the dark. I can see there, I don't really want to go to the sponsored links. I'd rather stick to the links that are here. Right, now I can see there I've got an option for school league tables, so that looks promising. I'll choose that. Now that counts as me using a menu option. Right, again I'll have a look down here, and now each time you need to do a screenshot. You need to explain which option you're choosing and then show what that option gives you. Now that one looks quite promising. GCSE results for state schools, and there you go. Now there's a set of data that maybe I could use, so I'd show that screenshot and I'd talk about how useful it might be. Now when you're doing these searches, there are 4 different types of searches that you need to include. One was the internal search bar. Now I use that. One is the navigation bar, which is up here, and another one is a menu choice, which tends to be sort of down here and you choose one from the menu, and the other one is the advanced search that I'll show you in a minute. Now you don't have to use them all definitely 3 times. You should just naturally use them as you do your searching, but just make a mental note as to whether by the time you get to the end of this document you've used all 4. The internal search, the navigation bar and the menu, I'm sure you will have done. The advanced search, you're going to have to force that in sometimes. Right, now I'm continuing with my document, and this time I'm saying that I'm going to use The Guardian. So another subheading, screenshot of the home page of The Guardian. You must start from the home page each time. Explain what you're going to do. Now on the navigation bar I've got an education choice. That seems like a good way to go, so choose that. If I look across here I've got GCSE, so another screenshot, explain that I'm doing that, justify why I'm doing it. This is looking quite promising. I've got league tables for 2009-2010. Now you don't really know if you're going in the right direction until you go there, so that's where the blind alleys might occur. It's quite a good idea sometimes to have a dry run of this before you put it in a document. Now what I've got here is all the different authorities, so it might be that I'm interested in local schools. Choose that option. I've got a table of data similar to that one before, but this time the local schools. You might be seeing yours there. Right, so that's another series of screenshots I've got. This time I've used a mainly navigation bar in order to get the data. Right, another search, another subheading, Department for Education this time. Now, notice it's got an advanced search. These are few and far between. You must use them. You must use several of them at least in order to get into high band marks. So if I choose the advanced search, I've then got to try and find something I can put in here. Now this one seems to have stood the test of time. You can see I've actually already done this once before. Now the date between, my reasoning here is GCSE results come out in August, so by the end of August they'll have been analysed. So that's the reason I'm making these choices. Now whatever choices you make, you need to do a screenshot and you need to justify them. Alright, it's not always easy. You'll probably definitely need to do a dry run for this, because quite often if you put in too much criteria it will come back with no results whatsoever. So you can see I've got all these choices down here, but I've just got a horrible feeling if I put any more in, I'll make it so specific it won't find me any results. But give it a try. You need to justify whatever you've put in. So if I see what this gives me, now I've got various comments in here that might be quite useful. It could be that what you find is not actually a set of data, but perhaps it's some useful comment, news article that you could end up using in your PowerPoint presentation. The end of this research project is you putting all your results into a presentation. Start with your question, end up with a load of data, statistics, queries from Access, newspaper reports to come up with a conclusion to your original question. So it could be that somewhere in here there is a newspaper article that talks about GCSE results going down or something like that. Alright? Okay, I'll leave you to find an advanced search that actually leads somewhere. Last one I want to show you is the BBC one. The BBC has got all sorts of different news articles. Again, some that might be of use to you. What I'm going to do, I'll put in GCSE league tables in there. Now you're not going to know if this is any use until you try it. Right, that's looking quite promising. Now I've just used an internal search box, so that tick that one. I've used the navigation bar quite a lot in the things I've been doing. Now you'll notice what I've got here is a menu, so I'm going to choose that one from the menu, so that ticks those boxes. Right, looking down here I've got best GCSE results. That looks promising, and I'm going to end up with a table of data by the looks of it. Right, there we go. I've got a table of data that might be of some use to me. Just wondering if I go in there. Right, so what I've got is just details about the school, so probably end there. There's the data that maybe I'd want to use. Right, so I've given you 4 examples of searching, starting from the home page, ending up with either a set of data or a news article that might be of use. What you need to do is to do that for your research project. Make sure that at this stage you're putting in things that are applicable to your research question. So you may be putting in disabled students, or you may be using the word gender or ethnicity, applicants, applications, you might be putting in computer science, English literature. Try and get quite specific to the data that you actually want. It will take you a while. You will end up going down a lot of blind alleys. Don't record them all. That's not going to be of any use whatsoever. But hopefully by the end of it, you'll find enough such that you meet the exam board criteria of using internal search, navigation bar, menu, and also a fair few advanced searches.